Saturday afternoon. Excuse me. About 1:10, thereabouts. And let's see what happens today. Let's see what there is to discuss. If anything, you never know. Um, and I was going to leave it open if anyone has any questions they wanted to ask about anything at all. I'm always happy to answer questions, even if I don't have um, an actual answer. Always more than happy to make something up, engage in a story, um, or, more honestly, to discover something together. It's the nature of questions. I think it was Anthony Robbins. I'm a mixed fan of Anthony Robbins. I'm a mixed fan of the vast majority of self-help material because, let's return to what Anthony Robbins was going to say, which is the quality of your life depends upon the quality of your questions. What are you asking of yourself? What are you asking of life? Or are you just ambling along without asking questions? If you don't ask questions, you get what you get. If you ask questions, you still get what you get. But at least you come to a certain understanding that maybe there's not really answers. Maybe it's just a series of questions that when you're living fully embedded in the mystery of life, you can't count on a single answer. To me, that makes things easier. Not having to know, not having to have an answer, not demanding that things be a certain way because I expect them to, because I want them to, because I demand them to. My demands don't have to be met. It's nice when they are. Who knows when that's going to happen? So far, maybe I'm batting 500. Probably not even. I'm assuming batting 500 means, you're doing okay. I actually don't know. I should be more careful using a sports metaphor without actually knowing anything about the particular sport. Most particularly baseball. No, maybe football too. Boxing's pretty straightforward. Mixed martial arts, pretty straightforward. Football, baseball, and I played them both. But I didn't understand them. I certainly didn't understand the ins and outs of football once it got to that high school level, and I had to understand plays. To me, it was, should be straightforward. Give one person the ball, however you can, and then block everyone else out of the way. Or if you're on the other side, tackle the person with the ball. Anything else is unnecessary, in my opinion, which doesn't mean much, especially about football or baseball. So, batting 500, again, I'm assuming that's, so-so. Answers to my demand, any of my demands, so-so. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no, but all the time, basically, I just don't know. The Zen tradition, most particularly in Korean Zen, is always default to the I don't know mind. That's our true nature. Mystery. I don't know. And it's so funny that we internally rebel against accepting that or saying that out loud. I don't know. But what a great place to be. Because then everything's a possibility. Things aren't set in stone. The world doesn't have to conform to my beliefs. Be it if I'm a Republican, if I'm a Democrat, anything in between. I don't need to view the world, I don't need to view life in those two terms. Either this or either that. Sometimes it's this and that. As a matter of fact, all the time it's this and that. Because can you show me where there is an actual separation? Not just a conflict of belief, not just opposing conversations, but can you show me where there's an actual separation between a conservative and a liberal? They're both expressing life. They just have different thoughts. Thoughts are not reality. Thoughts are your own personal, internal map, a description of how you see reality, but it's not reality itself. As they say in NLP, which ties us a little bit back to Anthony Robbins, sort of. And I do want to get on why I'm not a big self-help person anymore. According to NLP, the map is not the territory. The menu is not the meal. Our thoughts are not reality. Our beliefs are not reality. Although they certainly shape how we view reality, which is why beliefs can be so powerful. It still doesn't make it true, though. Your conservative beliefs doesn't make the universe conservative. Your liberal beliefs doesn't make the universe liberal. Not to dive into politics, although I do on occasion. So let's get back to self-help. What self are you actually helping? The self that you were yesterday or the day before? Self that you are now? Do you expect to have a better self by reading this book or doing this particular thing? We can more properly say that we are selfing rather than a self. Always in the process of becoming another version of a self. So when someone says something along the lines of, I do this so I can present a better version of myself tomorrow. Who's to say what a better version is? Does that mean you're lacking something now? And if you are, what is it? What can you possibly be lacking? We do this sort of, in our workouts, in our fitness journey, in our running, in our burpees, in our push-ups, building a better body, building a better self, building a better Eric. But what am I lacking? Does one more push-up mean I'm a better version of myself tomorrow? One more squat, one more chin-up, one more burpee? If I do less, for whatever reason, does that make me less? Or what if I quit? I've had plenty of DNFs, did not finish in ultra running, and virtually every ultra runner, at least every ultra runner I've ever met, talked to, or heard of, has at least one DNF, and I have plenty. It's one of the things of, racing often. You race often, you're going to miss a few. There's always the next time. My only DNFs have come in 100-mile races. Everything else even on a bad race, a race turned bad, I've been able to stick it out. It's sort of a stoic approach. That's why I always did well in 24-hour races, because if the weather turned bad, just put my head down. It's just bad weather. It's not a bad me. It's not a bad version of myself. I'm just getting wet, or I'm just getting cold, or I'm just getting hot. It's just something. It's just another experience. Put your head down and go. So, again, self-help. Who exactly are you helping? What I like to think of better is moment by moment expressing the self that you are now, however that is, and watching it change. It's what I love about yoga, is that it takes you into that direct awareness of each experience and just allows you to be. Don't need to do anything special. You don't need to be anyone special. You just need to be. And hey, guess what? You're already doing that. You're already being. Human being. Simplest thing in the world. You are the experience that's happening now and all that's involved in it, which means the entire universe. The entire universe is involved in this moment happening from all fields. Sorry, I'm doing hand motions off camera. All fields, infinite, coming together, right here. What I am, pressed against me as me. As I'm pressed against it as it. No separation. No separation is the big thing in the yogic view. It's how we view the world. It's how a yogi views the world, not from wishful thinking, not through the process of self-help, but by simply being in the experience itself. Our breath engaged in a posture, in an asana. Meditating. Being the witness of thoughts passing by. Having that witnessed collapse. And again, just being. That's basically yoga in a nutshell. So there was a time, most certainly, I was very much into self-help. I felt like I needed it. I felt like myself, the self that I believed in at the time, needed a whole lot of help. Man, a whole lot of help. More than you can realize. And if I were to adopt that belief again, I could view the self that's arising now and think, man, that self needs a whole lot of help. But I would miss the whole experience of selfing, just being what I am, watching it evolve, watching this self seamlessly becoming another self, becoming another self, becoming another self, ever onwards, endlessly, infinitely. It's just like the Big Bang isn't over. It went from that singularity of existence, expanding, creating time and space as it went along, creating me, creating you as it went along, and it's still ongoing, still becoming, still evolving. Evolution didn't end with the completion of a human being and say, well, that's it. It was a shrug, in case you couldn't see. Evolution continues, and will, always, somehow in some form. Evolution is simply awareness looking at itself, becoming something, and then continuing on. You won't find that in a textbook. You won't find that in a textbook of evolution. You might find it in some book on cosmology. Maybe. Depends on who wrote it. Maybe Brian Shrim? Might be pronouncing that wrong. Wonderful writer. The universe is a green dragon. And it certainly might be. Which always reminds me of my favorite story of Turtles All the Way Down, which I mention quite often here, and I've engaged with the artist formerly known as Barefoot Burpees, now known as Hybrid Jim. We both shared a liking for the story. I've heard it from different sources, but most commonly the psychologist William James, father of American psychology, deep thinker, was giving a talk, and he was interrupted by an elderly woman who mentioned that he was wrong in his thinking and that the universe is simply existing on the back of a turtle. To which he replied, that may be true, but what's underneath that turtle? And of course the woman had an answer. Another turtle. And it's just turtles all the way down. So if the universe is not a green dragon, which it might be, could certainly be turtles all the way down. I like both metaphors. So, all right, guys, 15 minutes talking about nothing, talking about the self. There's a connection there. Self, nothing. Maybe we'll explore that sometime. 15 minutes talking about nothing, probably more than enough, probably too much. Let's call it a day. It's Saturday. Got some studying to do. I am about to embark on a certification process for yoga philosophy. What I like about yoga philosophy, it's not just in the realm of philosophy. Everything is meant to be a pointer, pointing towards awareness, showing you who you are. So, exciting. With that, I'm going to get started. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, going to do some burpees. Debating doing Navy SEALs or possibly back to supercharged burpees as presented by Burpees Bandit. My friends in the burpee community haven't tried it yet. Give it a shot. It's a fun program. It's extremely tough. What makes it fun is it's over in 11 minutes. And then we got time for some other stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. If I want to do my 20 minutes of Navy SEALs, or if I want to do 11 minutes of mixed burpees. Another great thing about the supercharged routine, I get to do Navy SEALs, I get to do one pumps, I get to do kickouts. Unfortunately, I also get to jump and I also get to squat. But you take the good and the bad. It's the facts of life, I guess. I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned. Find out what we do. See you guys.